Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn from Take Me Home Italy calling and talking to you here. And I'm here with my friend, my amica, who is Napolitana, and her name is, oh my God, Federica Rubino.
Federica, yeah.
Is it Rubino or Rubino?
Rubino.
Rubino, I said it right, okay. And from my understanding, you've lived in Napoli or right around Naples for your entire life. Is that correct?
Yes, most. Well, I was born here in Naples, so I'm 100% Neapolitan, but a couple of times I lived abroad, specifically in London area. So I went over there studying at the university, winning a scholarship. And then I came back here, graduated, and went back over there to improve my English. This is the official story. Unofficially, I was going shopping and eating and drinking beer all the time, but this is another story.
The beer is better there.
Of course, it's much cheaper.
Cheaper, yes.
Yes. And the food is amazing. I know that sounds strange, but since I love international cuisine, over there you can find different cultures, so different recipe and things. Here, our food is amazing, but it's not very common to find different kind of type of food. I mean, nowadays you have a bit of sushi, you have a bit of Mexican, but they're always a bit Italian. I mean, they're not properly foreign cuisine. So, we are very jealous about our food.
Yeah, well, I think Italian food is so good and it's so varied throughout the country. But I remember coming to visit Italy 20 years ago, and there was no sushi. There were no Chinese restaurants. There was no Mexican. There was nothing. Now I know I go to a Chinese restaurant here. I've had sushi. I go to the one in Rapallo, but they also have some Italian dishes. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try one of their Italian dishes. Oh my God. It was awful. So it's much better now than 20 years ago. So
of course,
we've.
I was in London 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, of course, some things were missing here. But we are so focused on our food that if you go to McDonald's here, you find salad.
Yes.
Okay? Because it's healthy. Okay, you have to eat salad and things like that with a lot of vegetables. I mean, if I go to a fast food, is to eat junk food. I mean, for us at least.
Yes. Well, I think Americans live on junk food quite often. Not all of us, not everybody in America. Sorry. I always do that because I'm American too, but I try to, believe it or not, I actually eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. So,
well, you live here now, so you're forced to do that.
Even when I lived in the States, except when I worked too many hours, then I ate a lot of junk food and I ate a lot of pizza. So some of my junk food was pizza, but it was American pizza. We'll talk about pizza.
Well, junk food is for us is pizza as well. I mean, fried pizza is junk food for us. It's a street food, we call it.
Street food, yes. So before I know you went to university also, didn't you, and study languages?
Yes, I studied foreign languages actually, because when I was a kid, my parents loved to travel. So they took me almost everywhere in Europe. And I remember that I was so fascinated by the people talking different languages around me that I decided I want to learn all the languages, because I know it's very frustrating when you talk with someone and you cannot understand what they're talking about. Okay. So of course, traveling abroad, I was listening to kids speaking in French, Spanish, English, and I couldn't understand anything at all because I was Italian. So I decided I have to learn all the language because I have to understand what people are saying. So this is why I jumped in the foreign languages classes, first in middle school, high school, and then university. I never left the field actually. So they are part of me.
What languages do you speak?
I started with the English in the primary school, Spanish in the middle school, French in the high school, and I had the Chinese at the university. Then I stopped because my brain was collapsing, okay? And sometimes I mix all the words. It's quite awkward because if I'm talking to you in English and suddenly I don't remember a word in English, I remember that word in the other languages. Like my brain, okay, I help you. pick up the word from the shelves. I give you this one, but it's not in English. Who cares? Take it anyways. Okay, so it's actually very funny. And also when I'm guiding in Naples or in Pompeii during my job, if close to me there is a guy that is speaking another language, I don't know why my brain picked the other language. So if I'm with an American or English group and there is someone speaking Spanish or French, I start speaking Spanish or French. So my brain switched language. I don't know why. So it's very awkward because I realized that after 10, 50 seconds, and the people look at me, okay, what are you talking about? Because of course I'm talking another language. So it's very funny, but it's a fascinating word. I mean, the brain is like a sponge. So it's amazing, actually, how many things you can learn.
It is. I will say I'm having trouble being I'm not fluent in Italian by any means, but I study every day. And I think that the older you get, sometimes the harder it is to just let it sink in. I feel like my brain is getting full and I want to go, knock some of it out of my ear or something so I can make some more room. It's like it's all full. So that would be me. Anyway, so you learned all these languages. And then when did you decide to become a tour guide?
Well, actually it happened suddenly. I mean, I'd always loved to visit museum and archaeological area or boring places. Okay, that's me. Because of all the trip that I had with my parents, okay, when I was a kid. So for me, the museum was quite normal as a place to visit. So when I started working after my graduation in the hotel, I realized that I spend most of my time talking to the people and tell them, you should visit this, or you should visit that one in my region or in my hometown. And then I realized, oh my God, I really like this kind of work. So at my job as a hotel receptionist, because it was boring anyway, to give pillows all the time to the people in the hotel was pretty boring, or answering the phone and sound nice. Okay, I'm not a nice person. A little bit at the end, I'm a nice person, but not when I'm on the phone. Anyway, I started working as a tour coordinator at the Port of Naples for short excursion with an English company. And then I became a tour leader, and then I got my license as a tour guide. So I cover all the steps. Okay, I started from the lowest one, and then I reached the most important one, to be a tour guide. That actually is the only job I could be doing. I mean, it's like a vocation. I cannot think doing anything else in my life. I really love to be a tour guide.
So you found your soul work, basically, is being a tour guide and sharing the beauty of your land with all of us.
Yes, absolutely. It's so fast. It's so amazing when you meet people from all over the world and you show them things that you have in front of you every day. And you can see these things through their eyes and see all the marvel, and everything is so amazing. And also they fell in love, and sometimes we became friends, we became pals, we just write each other. So it's amazing. It combines my desire to show the people my homeland, but also my desire to travel, because I meet people from all over the world. So I think it's the perfect job, at least for me. It's not easy. Okay, it's a very tough job because we work a lot, a very strict schedule and everything. But if you do a job that you love, oh my God, you're not working at all.
Well, they do say
at
that
least my opinion.
When you lose track of time, you're doing the right thing. If you're doing something and you have to, oh my gosh, I missed the cutoff to go this way, you know that you're enjoying your work. But you also have to deal with people. You have to deal with a lot of personalities as a tour guide.
Yes.
I've worked with the public.
It's not easy.
I'm American.
It's not easy because
I'm American, but I have
sorry.
I have roots in Campania. I have roots in Abruzzo. Those are my, I'm 100% Italian American. Well, I grew up with this lively, boisterous, straight in your face people. So when you work with the public, they can be annoying sometimes, right? But you have to figure out how not to punch them in the face. You have to find that goodness in those people to communicate.
Yes. It's not easy because above all in the first like 20 minutes when you meet them, you have to actually understand what kind of people they are, because sometimes, I mean, these people arrive to you through companies or through agencia like yours or through like private clients. Okay, so you don't know them at all. So you meet them, and the first 20 minutes you have to understand how to deal with them, because sometimes they are friendly. Okay, I can be a friendly person. Sometimes they are very polite, like the British, you know, sometimes they prefer their privacy and everything. So I cannot push too much. So it's not easy to understand how to deal with people if you have a kids, if you have elderly people, they're not able to walk a lot. So it's not easy because you cannot be the same person for everybody. I
No,
mean, you have to
you shouldn't.
compromise.
Yes, you have to gear to your audience, basically, your audience of people, travelers. I can imagine that can be very stressful and it can be very rewarding as well. So you meet, I'm
Yes.
sure you learn from them too.
Oh my
So
God, a lot, a lot. They never stop surprising me, honestly. I've met people from really from all over the world, and every time is a life lesson for me as well. You know, sometimes there happens awkward things, like people taking pictures at you all the time because, oh, you remind me of my cousin that I met 2000 years ago. Okay, but you cannot take pictures all the time and me. Okay, it's awkward. Okay, and your wife is close to you. Okay, so I don't want to get killed by your wife because you're taking pictures and me. Okay, so it's not easy to deal with people because you have to be polite, because I mean this is part of the job. But sometimes it's challenging, honestly,
yes,
but
it can
it's
be.
funny anyways.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So one of the things that I find awkward when I'm working with clients, sometimes they say, well, we don't want to go to we want to go to Rome, Florence, and Venice. I mean, we don't have a lot of time, but we want to, we're going to be there 8 days and we want to see those three. Well, that's crazy in the
Yeah.
first place, or it's difficult. It's not crazy. They just don't know how hard that is. But when I mention Napoli, when I say, Naples, why wouldn't you go on and go, well, it's scary there and it's
Yeah.
dangerous, and they have garbage strikes and the garbage piles up to the ceiling, and the mafia is there. What do they call it in Napoli?
It's Camorra, they call it here. Yeah.
The Camorra. There's movies about the Camorra. There's
Oh
TV
yes.
shows, so there. And I say, but it's gorgeous. So what would you tell people about what are the great things to see in the art
Well,
world?
it's a very tough question. The first things, I stopped believing to all the things you saw in the movies. Okay, because if I have to believe the movies, I should never go to United States.
No, you'll
Okay,
get
because they
killed.
could rape me, kill me. Okay, they could do everything to me in the United States. So of course, when you come to big cities, you have to be focused. You have to pay attention, like any big cities in the world. Okay, Naples is one of the third largest cities that we have in Italy, so it's not a town. So of course we have like people that can steal you something, or pickpockets. We have this problem, but you have in Rome, you have in Milan, you have everywhere, London, France, wherever you go, you have this problem. So of course, if you go to a big town, you have to be careful. But it's not because it's Naples, it's because big towns, they are like tourist traps, and all the people are very happy when all the tourists gathering over there taking pictures, and then they say, okay, now is the time to steal their wallets and everything. One of the most dangerous places in Italy is the Trevi Fountain.
The Trevi Fountain? I just
For
lost you again.
this, and taking a lot of pickpockets on.
I lost you.
Yeah, so there's like go to, I don't know, to Chicago, you have these kind of problems. Can you hear me? Yes,
I heard you say you
I'm
have
back
no
or
problems.
not.
You're back now. Do you have difficulty with your Wi-Fi? Because this hasn't happened before.
Oh, oh, that this city is dangerous, but I don't know. Let me check just a second. Let me check just a second the line.
I chatted briefly with Federica before, and we had the same problem. So let's hope if everything will come back and it'll be fine, because I absolutely adore her. And my clients have worked with her and they love her too. So you can see she's quite a personality.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay,
I'm
thank
back.
you.
Now it's working?
It seems to be, yes, thank you.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. Everybody now is at home. Okay, it's an holiday.
Okay.
So of course, everybody they're using their devices. So sometimes the line is not the best
It's those
for the
darn kids.
Wi-Fi connection.
That's right.
Yes. Here it's nap time. Okay, everybody is watching TV or relaxing after lunch. You know, Neapolitan timings. Yeah. Anyway, I was telling about how Naples is dangerous. It's dangerous as any big city you may find all over the world. So my only suggestion is come here without prejudice and just be careful and then enjoy, because we have tons of amazing things to show to tourists and to offer to tourists. But you have to just come here open-minded, okay? And then enjoy what you have at disposal. Of course, the city is not for everybody. I give you an example. I've been to Berlin. And they told me, you are going to love Berlin because you're a young person. You love shopping. You love everything. I went to Berlin and I said, okay, I want to go back home. I didn't like it at all, but not because the city was wrong. I mean, it was not right for me.
Right.
So it depends also what you like, what you don't like. There are a lot of people that simply want to relax, okay, when they come here. Like the ancient Romans, okay, they want a holiday, they want to stroll around. So if that's the case, Naples is not for you, because it's like a big town like Rome, Milan. You have to see things, do things. If you want to relax, go to the coast. I mean, there is of Sorrento and the Amalfi Coast, Ischia or Capri Island. But if you want to see things or do things or see the real vibe of the Italian life, okay, Naples is the perfect place.
I would think
we are not like a museum. We are not like a fake city. If you come to Naples, you will see Neapolitans all around, speaking in Neapolitans, very few tourists are going around. We are loud, we're going to shout, motorcycle, cars. Okay, that's it, but it's our town. So
the first time I was in Naples, I was 19 years old. And I was with my cousin and her husband. And he was driving. And we got up really early in the morning to leave the hotel, and we were driving, which he was driving. And there was a car accident. Somebody,
oh my God,
a Napolitan, hit another person, another local. And they got out of the cars and they're yelling and screaming at each other. And I felt like I was at home. I mean, I thought, what? My father would do that, you know? And so, but it was wild. But it's not always like that. Although I would not advise people to drive there. I would say take public transportation, walk, and or even the hop on, hop off bus if you want to use it for transportation. But
yeah, we have the tube here, for example. We have the underground system. So the subway is very useful to move around because it connects different parts of the town, the uphill, the waterfront, the city center. So using maybe a daily ticket, you can see different things without walking too much. So this could be a good option. Yeah.
So if someone only had 2 days to be in Napoli, what would you tell them they should see? Now, I've been to the archaeological museum and loved it.
Yes.
I've never been to what is the name of that chapel?
San Severo Chapel.
San Severo Chapel. I would really like to go there. Is that one of the highlights of places for people that like art?
Yes, yes. The only problem that sometimes these highlights, you have to queue a lot, okay, like in Rome and Florence. So in case you plan to go over there, it's better to book in advance the tickets so you don't have to queue. And you save time. Above all, when you have just a couple of days, sometimes it's always better to pre-order or pre-buy the tickets. So you won't be queuing and you actually save your time and you can do more things. So my suggestion for a couple of days in Naples, Archaeological Museum is amazing. It's one of the most important museums that we have in Italy. And there are lots of things coming from Pompeii and Herculaneum, because I don't know if you know, the first part of the excavation, actually the artifacts were removed from the archaeological area and brought in a museum. So some of the most ancient findings are now in the museum, not in Pompeii or Herculaneum. So it's amazing. You can see the frescoes and the mosaic. So that is a one of the highlights. The historical city center, I mean, is listed as a UNESCO site because it preserve the ancient street layout of the Greek town. So it's amazing. It's like an open air museum. So if you stroll in the historical city center, you're going to feel the vibe of the ancient part of Naples, the Greek origins and everything. So that's one of the highlights. The waterfront, because it's basically a pedestrian area with all the hotels, the most ancient castle that we have, nice restaurants and pizzeria, is an area to relax. Better at sunset, because in summer, during daytime, it's very hot. This is my personal suggestion. And then if you have a still time, you can walk a little bit along Toledo, which is the shopping street, like our Fifth Avenue or Oxford Street, okay? But it's much shorter, so don't worry. And you can hang around a little bit at the area and take the funicular uphill to see Vomero, which is another nice district that we have.
And I'll bet that.
So this is my itinerary.
I think that would be beautiful at night too, to go up the Funiculare and take photos and stuff.
Yes.
What about?
Yeah, there is a nice place in Naples that is called San Martino. From there, you can actually see all the ancient part of Naples from above. And wow, it's amazing because it looks like a Christmas tree, Naples from above, like a presepe, okay? Because all the houses close together, it's really amazing.
Well, that sounds like fun. I've watched, shows on the underground also. Is that something that you would advise people? What about people that are claustrophobic?
Oh, actually, underground is okay. Yeah, it's nice experience. There are different parts. Everybody thinks there is just one underground, and actually we have a different underground places that you can visit. It depends what you want to see. The aqueduct, the bomb shelter of World War II, or you want to see the ancient Roman market of the city. So actually there are different parts, but I found it fascinating because Naples has two cities, one in the daylight and one in the shadow. So it's amazing to see both sides of our town. The city is it's complicated. It's a lasagna. Okay, this is the metaphor that I always use. Layers that accumulated during the century. So it's amazing when you can see all the layers. I mean, you can taste all the layers and you get the full taste of a particular city, because Naples is, I think, a unique city that we have. I mean, like Venice is unique for other reasons. Florence is unique for the museum and all the art that has. Rome is Rome, but Naples is unique in another way. So I think every place has amazing things to visit. The only thing, again, I'm open-minded, okay? Forget about the things that you saw or you read online, or my cousin told me that once this happened. No, come here and just experience. Then you can say, I don't like it. Because you want to know the truth. I hate Naples and I love it at the same time. So it depends how I wake up in the morning. Some days I hate it, sometimes I love it. So it's the dualism of the city.
That's the dualism of any big city, though. You love the convenience,
exactly.
You love the beauty, but you sometimes are overwhelmed by the whole group of people. And
yes.
So, but really, the people are the story. I mean, the people of Naples, the people of Italy, they really are the heart and soul of the country. So I always talk about, you think about the coffee culture there and all the coffee that's people talk about getting. I thought when I come down there, I'm going to buy some coffee. I'm going to taste like 5 different places and then buy a couple of coffee.
Yes. Coffee is, it's a must here. It's our ritual. It's not just a drink. Okay, it's not something that you drink because there's a caffeine inside. It's something that you share. Okay, there is this huge thing about sharing the coffee with the people you care about. is the first thing that you offer if you meet a friend or a colleague at work and everything. Let's have a coffee together. So you drink coffee, coffee after day. This is why we are always smiling. It's like a drug, okay? We have so much caffeine in our blood. This is why we always look so happy. So coffee is actually a ritual. It's our way to say, okay, I want to spend like 5 minutes with you. Even if at the counter, even if we are not sitting, let's share a coffee. It's our time shared together. And it could be, I told you, family, friends, colleague, and everything. And then you start talking with the bartender and with the barista. It's fine. You talk about weather, soccer games, economy, and everything. Or how is your love life? Okay, he's like a confessor, the bartender here. So
That's probably true in most bars.
yes. Yes.
It's kind of a
So
universal
if you come to
thing.
Naples, better than the beer, better than the wine, coffee, it's a must, because it's a very ancient tradition and it's actually how we live every day with the tons of coffee in our veins. Okay, that's a true local experience.
Must have really been difficult during the worst COVID times to not be able to go out and get a coffee.
Yes, yes. I remember that is one of the worst things, not having the pizza, okay, sitting at the table, because the takeaway pizza has not the same flavor that the pizza sitting at the table, because once you put in the box, it lose part of the flavor. And the same is for the coffee. Takeaway coffee is not the same like the takeaway, like the coffee that you have at the counter or sitting at the table. So for us, it was a nightmare. And also, imagine here they give you water with the coffee, okay? It's one of the best things that we have in Naples. If you go to Rome, they don't give you water together with the coffee. You should drink water before drinking coffee to clean your mouth so you can taste perfectly the coffee flavor, okay? That's the rule. Here they give you coffee and they give you the water and they give you the sugar and the stick to just stir everything. Now imagine this takeaway, okay? You have to take all these things, go out from the bar, you're wearing mask. So you have no hands free to just put down your mask. So you start doing like that, okay? And then you don't know how to stir the coffee because you have the water. So I drink the water, but what if I need other water after the coffee? So it became a nightmare. So please never close the bars again. Okay, it's very important.
Did they give it to you in plastic glasses too?
Yes. Oh my God. It's terrible. Yes. I hate plastic in general. Okay.
Too.
So I prefer glass or the traditional cap. And when they give you plastic, it's awful. The taste, and also it's like like a vending machine. If I want a coffee in the plastic cap, I go to the vending machine. It costs me less, and it's dirty water, but
yes.
I save money at least.
So, oh my gosh. So you've lived literally, other than a couple of years, your entire life in and around Napoli.
Naples, yes.
Naples, what was it like for you to go to London and study or go there and learn the language, spend months and months there?
At the beginning, it was fascinating because you go abroad, you go to London. That is, for European, London is like the capital of Europe, okay? Because there's a lot of things, a cosmopolitan city, so it's fascinating. So I went over there and I just had the shock to understand the people talking in English, because there are no English people in London anymore. Okay, there are people from all over the world with different accents. So I was actually staring at the people, looking for subtitles because I cannot understand what they were saying. I remember once I went to a fast food, okay, and the lady was telling me if I wanted something. I didn't realize what she was asking me. So I said, yes, yes, yes. At the end, my tray was full of things that I didn't want it, like corn on the cob or fried chicken, everything I put on the tray because I could not understand what she was telling me. So that was part of the shock. So dealing with the different kind of accent and also different kind of English spoken, because here in the university you study British English. So when you meet people from Australia, United States, sometimes there are slight variation in how you pronounce a word, how you say something. So of course for us it's not easy to understand. The second shock was the food. Okay, I mean, meat and potatoes everywhere. Okay, you cannot skip meat and potatoes. There are no chance. Vegetables, okay, it's fake. I mean, it's tasteless. I mean, it's like the toy that you give to the dogs. More or less, they are more like the vegetables are. So of course, the food was a shock. And so when we found places selling Italian food, that was the best part, like the pizza. Okay, I tasted pizza. It was similar, not the same because the water was from London, but that was a good. When I found the people selling Italian coffee, or better, Neapolitan one, I was almost crying, okay, like a baby, because I remember the cost of a espresso was like £3 and a half. Okay, here coffee in Naples costs less than €1. To give an idea about the difference, but was the best coffee I ever had because was not a huge cup of dirty water they were serving me. Okay. And I remember that usually when I went to the bars, I ordered, can I have a 3 espresso? Okay, a triple espresso, double espresso. I still was like that, dirty water. So I started drinking beer or tea. Okay, and when I found the original coffee, I mean Lavazza coffee, I said, oh my God, I'm so happy. So I paid almost £4 for a cup of coffee. Not every day because it was too much, but it was a nice experience. And the third worst things I experienced was the absence of a very important tool that we have in the bathroom, the bidet. Okay. Now, bidet is part of our day
The
life.
bidet is what you
Bidet, yeah.
said. Yes.
Yes, you know, it's part of our day life. Okay, we grew up looking at this tool and this piece in the bathroom, and you're so used to it. Now imagine that I went over there when I was 21 years old. So after of using the bidet for 21 years, I arrived in a typical English house. I opened the bathroom and the bidet was missing. I close again the bathroom door and I open again. I don't know, I was waiting to see that appearing. It never happened. So I lived 11 months without a bidet. Okay. And that was the most difficult things I've done in my life, honestly.
It's like going without toilet paper or anything after using toilet paper. It was, yeah,
Exactly,
it's like when
exactly.
when the people thousands of years ago used leaves, and now, there's no leaves.
More or less. Now, at a certain point, I was feeling like I was living in a jungle because for me, it was quite normal to have the bidet in the bathroom. I mean, how difficult it is to build this kind of thing? It's made in ceramic. They sell together with the toilet. I mean, they are together. They are like parents, okay? You cannot divide them.
Your mother and your father is the toilet. The mother is the bidet. The father.
That they should stay together. Okay, that's my personal opinion. So this is a message that I want to spread all over the world. Please learn how to build bidet because if you want to make an Italian happy, that would be great. Okay.
I worked with a builder for many, many years, different builders. And I've had a couple of people ask about having a bidet in their bathroom. And the builders just refused to put them in. It didn't matter how much they paid. They said, we don't want to do the plumbing. We don't know what we're doing. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, it's a toilet with no lid. And you can turn the water on and off.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not that hard, how can it be so hard? But they just refuse to do it. So I've lived both ways. Obviously, growing up in the United States, we didn't have them. But I do appreciate a bidet. I definitely do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the most funny things that I heard, I did think, and then we just closed the topic, was I don't remember which part of the world this lady was, but she had a tour with me and she told me, oh, I have found in the hotel room, in the hotel bathroom, there is also the wash basin for the kids. and I was like that. Yeah.
That's
I
what
wanted
it
to
is.
laugh.
What do you do? Well, do you know what my first introduction was to a bidet? When I was 19, I met my cousin in Rome, she and her husband, and we walked through the ancient town. I'm having a one of those old people moments where you forget the word, the forum. And back then, I mean, it was all dirt. So I had sandals on and my feet were filthy. Okay, I'm going to meet my Italian relatives for the very first time, and there's nowhere to clean off my feet. So I walk in the door, I hug my cousin that I never met. She took one look at me and she took me by the hand and walked me into the bathroom, took my foot and put it in the bidet and washed my foot, took it, dried out, and then put another one in there and washed my foot. I went, oh, it's got foot washers in the bath. So that was my first.
Well, it could be one of the use, actually. It could be one of
Sure,
the
sure, I know, but I didn't know the other use. And I just thought, oh, how embarrassing to come there with dirty feet. Apparently it was the worst thing ever. But that was my introduction to a bidet.
Well, was it, I think the perfect introduction. Yeah.
That was easy. No one was showing me how to use it any other way. So that would have been good.
Thanks God.
So let's get off bidets, and you are a tour guide.
Yes.
But do you also do tours themselves, or set up a tour for a week, or do you work individually with clients? How does that work for you?
Well, actually, at the moment, I have like a business starting, and we are like a group of travel professionals that we just put ourselves together to offer different experiences to people. So, of course, it's not just tour guides, there are also professional drivers. There is my sister who is a chef. So she will be offering cooking classes and like family lunch experiences and everything. We have a travel consultant, which is my colleague and one of the co-founder of this new business. So actually, we created this to offer people different kind of experiences. So of course, I'm a freelance tour guide, but also I have these jobs and the business going on. So I can work individually as a tour guide. So you simply contact me and you want to visit a place, or you can contact me and to see multiple places in my region. That's possible. Or if you want a more complete experience, through this business, I can just plan something that if you need a driver or if you need a cooking class. So we are doing a lot of things. I'm multitasking.
I am too. I've learned I have 20 arms and I can keep things going. But
Yes,
you mainly work
exactly.
in Campania and nearby, right? Don't you mainly work?
Yes, actually, even if the license can be used in every Italian city, I prefer to offer true local experiences. So I'm from Naples, so even if I could work in Rome or Florence, I will never go over there unless my life brings me over there, because I could not offer the same experience, because as a local, I can truly show the people the most important things of Naples, but also the secrets, the dark side, or the things that people will not find in the guided books. So I think that's the best part when you have a tour guide. Otherwise, you would be taking an audio guide if you want simply learn the fact. If you want something more, if you're going to go deeper, tour guide is the best option. And I tell you this not because I'm a tour guide, because when I travel, I hire tour guides as well, local tour guides, because I think the experience is more complete. You go deeper. You do not stay on the surface. You scratch the surface and then you go deeper and deeper. And then at the end of the experience, at the end of the tour of the week or your holiday, you say, okay, I really lived in that town for a while, not like a local, and not like a tourist, but like a local. Yeah, this is at least what I offer.
Yeah, there's a total difference between being a tourist and a traveler. And a traveler gets a taste of living there like the locals do, and they bring home, I call it a piece of the Italian soul. That's on my website. Find your own piece of Italian soul, because we have, you have it, and I'm picking up pieces of it every time I come here. And now that I live here, I'm learning more and more about being Italian, which a lot of Italian Americans, again, sorry, we're not the same as Italian people. We're very close, but we're not the same. They have a different history than we do. So please don't take offense by that, but I'm learning to be Italian, not Italian American. So it's it's different. You know, people come and they, you know, well, I'm from Naples. Well, yes, your grandfather was there 100 years ago. And even Naples changes in 100 years. It has a
Of
history of
course.
thousands of years, but the culture changes. It's been through wars, it's been through kidnappings, it's been through, you know, stress and financial stress and earthquakes, and even Vesuvius went off during World War II. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of things happened. Yeah.
we didn't experience that in the US. And so we're
Yes.
different people than they are. But we have some of the traditions that you had 120 years ago, because the foods that were made 120 years ago in 1900, when our grandparents or whoever came over, they're still making them in the
Yeah.
US. And so things that are now like pizza rustica maybe it was a special Easter treat back when they were poor.
Yes. Yes.
And so we only have it on Easter. And we cook it on Easter every year, and it's a special meal. And
Yes.
some other foods, you know, that I talked with my relatives about. So I'm learning about how it's so different. And yet the root of those
Yes.
people, you know, the bloodlines that come from Greece and from Italy and from Cyprus and the Middle East, and you know, those are all the people that conquered and whatever that made Naples what it is.
Exactly.
It's
Yes.
still in my blood, some of it, you know, but
It's good.
I'm not the same. So anyway, let's leave that. But now your group is called Mind the Nap. Is that correct? Instead of Mind the Gap?
Exactly.
Mind
Nap.
the Nap.
Yes, nap is like a sleeping or like siesta.
Yeah.
I will translate here, but actually is a word of play and is Neapolitan authentic pal to show the people Naples like a local, because I think this is the best experience. So if you're coming here, the people that will be join you during the experiences, they are local people, and it will let you do things that locals do. Okay, so I think it's the best experience. To give you one of the samples, when we have the cooking class, my sister write down the list for the shopping, okay? And it's written in Italian. And you have to order things in Italian if you go to the market, okay? Because you have to learn how we do things here to have a true experience. I won't be buying the food for you. I will be there to assist you, okay? In case you are panicking, understanding what you're buying. But I want you to go over there with the basket, with the list of the shopping, like we still do nowadays, because we handwrite still nowadays these things. And you go to the, I don't know, the butcher, say, I need this, or you go to the grocery store, say, I need this, but it's in Italian. That's the one of the experiences. I think it's the best because it's like actually leaving a town. And I realized that the most important things, this is the reason why, for example, I loved London, because I lived over there and I'm not visiting like a tourist. So I learned a lot of things. And now London is like a second house for me. I learned everything and experience. I went to locals, people's house. I followed their tradition and everything. So I think that enriched me and make me understand better my own culture. So after my trip to London, I could understand better what being a Neapolitan is and what we have here, things we give for granted. And I think this is the purpose and the main aim when you travel, to enrich yourself through experiences and become not a better person, but a richer person through the experiences and the things you saw. So this is at least how I travel and what I like to do when I travel. And I try to apply the same method people coming here. So if you don't love to see museum, I'm going to force you. Tell me what you like. And I will tell you what you can do in Naples.
See, we have that in
Just
common.
studying your interest. Yes, because I think everybody is different, okay? And it's not just being Italian American or Italian. Every person is different, even in the same country. So every experience should be different for them. And
I'm looking up hiking trails and things like that, which you wouldn't catch me dead on a hiking trail. Well, you probably would find me dead on a hiking trail if I went on a hiking trail. You know? But there are a lot of people that love to hike. Well, you can hike everywhere in this country, and beautiful scenery, walk along and especially like Ravello and places up there, I don't think I could do it, but a lot of people do. And there are
Yes, a lot
places
of
here in
people
the
love to
video.
do that, like the urban trekking, for example, is something that
Yes.
is very common in our towns, above all towns like Naples, where you have the hills and then you have the waterfront. So having different levels, urban trekking is very widespread here. So I think for the people in general, it's important when they come to Italy to stop thinking about having an Italian experience, but think what they can do in every town they visit, because that experience will be real. There is nothing like Italy, okay? We don't know the things and every town is the same, okay? We have been
Yeah.
Italy for, I mean, less than 200 years. So of
Yes.
course, you have to think that before that, we have been something else that lasted for centuries, thousands of years in case of
Yes.
some cities. So of course, for us, being Neapolitan is stronger than being Italian. So our habits, our custom, our tradition are Neapolitan. And the same happens if you go to Florence, to Venice, in all the towns, you have to look what is local, okay? So Venice and Palermo, there are two opposites, okay? But they are different in their own way. So go over there, trust the local guides when they suggest you things, not because they want to give you what they want, but maybe because they're suggesting, hey, if you come here, do this, which is better, okay? If you love the quietness along the Amalfi Coast, don't go to Positano, okay? Because it's overcrowded. Go to Ravello, it's much easier and it's better and the view is amazing. But sometimes the foreign travelers, they don't always understand when we say these kind of things.
Yeah, no,
So they are focused because they want to have the perfect Italian experience. So tons of people have done the big three, like Florence, Rome, and Venice. They want to do that in 3 days. Okay, doesn't care if someone would say from Rome, hey, please don't do Rome in 1 day. It would be a waste of time. Trust us. Sometimes they don't want to listen. So in that case, there is nothing that we can do. But if the person is open-minded and then accept the suggestion, like people like me, you, or the people that are actually here, I think their experience would be one of the best.
I just, my sister, I think I told you, my sister wants to come back here. I'm going to the US this summer for a bit and then coming back in September or October. And she wants to come back with me and do some things. So I was reading someone's blog about the best tour for 3 days in Rome. And it listed all the things to do every day for 3 days. And I sent it to my sister and I said, I want you to read this. And I want you to realize there's absolutely no effing way we're doing this. Okay. And so I want you to pick out 2 or 3 things in one day that you might like to do, because this article really covered a lot of things. And there might be other things that you want to do. So look at it, laugh, realize this is a 20-mile hike each day. And it's also impossible to do everything. It's just, you know, you'd have no time to go to the bathroom. And
absolutely.
So my sister laughed and said, okay, I'll look at that.
Well, you know, the big problem sometimes that these itineraries are not totally wrong, but they not always take into account the heat of summer, for example. So during summertime, you walk for less hour because it's very hot. Rome and Florence, or city that has no waterfront, are the worst because there is no sea breeze and a lot of humidity. Cobblestones. Cobblestones are challenging, and most of the city have cobblestones. You walk slowly. So you work for less time because at a certain point would be very painful for your ankles and your feet, above all if you're not used to walk a lot, okay? Or also the food stops or the distances in between the places that you want to visit. You cannot always use the car here, like in most countries you do. We rely on public transport or walking most of the time. So even if you have a driver, there are a lot of places that are not accessible even by the drivers. So of course, these itineraries, they're not fake, but they are cannot be trustful. So it's always better to rely on different source of information, and then you create your own itinerary according to what you can actually afford every day. Because if you cannot walk for hours, I mean, I'm no one to say you have to do that. you can walk only 2 miles a day. Okay, we found an itinerary just for 2 miles a day. For me, it's not a problem. I've seen my hometown several times, so I don't need to see everything in the same
Yeah.
day. So
Well, I think the problem is for so many people, it is the trip of the lifetime. You know, going to
yes,
Italy or going to, and for some people going to Europe from the US or other places, they're not super wealthy people, or they're not, well, you know, experienced travelers all over the world. And so they look at a tour and you know, a tour bus, and they'll take you and they'll do all these things. And you go to 5 places in one day and hop, 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 you know. What I think, each country is different in the way you approach it, but in order to understand the country and the city, you need to spend some time there. You need to spend some time watching people. You need
yes,
to spend some time drinking coffee and maybe talking to, or going to Don Michele and having a pizza and talking to a stranger.
absolutely.
You know, sitting there talking to a local guy, or it's probably another tourist too, could be.
Yes,
But, you know, then you find out what they liked or what you liked, or, you know, and that's real traveling to me. So I always try to slow people down a little bit.
yes,
So I have done a couple of fam trips, you know, trips for travel agents or whatever, and they run you from
yes.
place to place to place to give you a tiny little crumb of everything. Well, physically, I can't, first of all, physically, it's really hard to do that now. You know, the older you get, the harder it is. And I broke
Oh,
my
of course.
foot.
No, don't worry. I'm 33. I have the same problems. So
I broke my foot 2 years ago, and tore a ligament completely. And so it
oh my
slowed
God.
me down. And anyway, but as you get older, things just do slow you down. Most people, not everybody. So you have to gear it towards everybody. My sister has some foot problems also, so she's not going to walk all over Rome. And I take taxis. I usually stay in Monte, and I take taxis to the Vatican.
Yes.
You know, I'll walk a lot of other places, but that's too far. And I also think that bus is the worst bus for
Oh my God.
pickpockets. So I don't take the bus there. And if there's, you know, I'll take a taxi. I've been in a taxi accident in Rome once, but, you know,
Oh my
overall
God.
it's pretty safe. And the guy he left the meter on. It was running.
Oh my God.
While we were sitting there, he was yelling at the other guy that hit him. I'm like, oh, should I tell him I'm not paying for that? I don't. Or is this part of the deal? Is this part of the tour of Italy? You know?
Part of the experience. Yeah, happens to me a lot of times to see car accidents, and not in Naples actually, but along the Amalfi Coast. You know, it's a very tough drive, the Amalfi Drive.
Yes.
And I've seen a lot of car accidents, above all when people rent the car and they pretend to drive along the Amalfi Coast. I mean, it's very challenging. So we witness a lot of car accident, but that is part of the experience. You know,
Well,
is
as long as you're not in the car that has the accident goes
no,
on.
the one when you are safe and sound in your own car or in your own bus, and you see the accident, because most of the accidents, they are not deadly accident, but sometimes they are funny when two bus stuck together and nobody's moving for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And the tourists, they spend time taking pictures and videos, because for them it's amazing to see a tiny road with two buses stuck and they are not, we're not moving. For us it's not fun, but I mean, it's a part of the experience, as you
It is
said
part of the
before.
experience. So now you also would help people if they're going to the Amalfi Coast and going
Yes.
to Pompeii and whatever. Actually, it's Pompeii, Herculano, and then what is the Greek, the really Greek one that's further south?
Is a Pestum, the one further in the south. Yes.
That I have not actually made it to Paestum yet. So but it's
It's
again,
a bit far.
it's far. Yeah. So that might be on a vacation one of these years. Now that I'm living here, it's a little easier. But
yes.
I've heard it's fabulous. So anyway, so
the part where it's Pestum is amazing, because it's a very wide area of Campania region. There are a lot of parks, and there are a lot of beautiful coastline, and there's also famous for the mozzarella factories, the area around Pestum. So it's good if you stay more days in Naples, in Campania. It could be no problem, a day trip from Naples, okay? If you're coming from Rome or other places, would be a little bit too far. So you're
Right.
wasting time in the car or in the train for nothing. So it's better if you stay in Campania for a while and then you explore a little bit with day trips. That could be an option. If you're coming for a day trip from Rome, Naples, Pompeii, if you have to, but for us it's challenging anyways. And then Amalfi Coast, no go further than that, would be too far
Oh, yeah.
for the people.
People don't realize the distances. They really don't. So it's
No.
really, when I drove with my one cousin, and we drove for 2 weeks, kind of from Abruzzo to Campania and around, you know, I
Okay.
realized just how large it really was, or how long the roads were, I should say, because it wasn't all highway. It wasn't, you know, there were
Exactly.
back roads, and there's mountains in the middle, and you know, you have to go around this mountain or up over this one. You know, we got lost and ended up in the
Gargano, yes.
Gargano, and went up over the mountain and down, because that's what GPS told us to do.
No, it's not easy because sometimes you don't have a GPS signal when you are up in the mountain. So you can be stuck over there forever.
I know. And then you have to wait for the cows to get out of the road. And then I was driving at one point and the road went, I swear to God, the angle was like this, because GPS was telling us to go on the street. We should have gone on another street, you know? We barely made it up the hill. So
yeah, it's the worst. Yeah, honestly.
These are the things that I hope that people that rent cars hear, because you have to plan extra time for that. You have to plan to drive longer, further. You're going to be late. It's the way it is.
Yes. And also the parking fees, they are something that you have to take into account, because if you go to places like the Amalfi Coast, the parking is very expensive, even in Naples. But in Naples, you have more option, because being a town, you have different places. In town along the Amalfi Coast, sometimes you have a few parking areas. And of course, they're going to cost you a kidney sometimes. So it's better if you find an alternative. Sometimes, for example, I suggest, okay, why don't you take jet foils or hydrofoil to move from one place to another. I don't tell you to hire a driver because it would be expensive, or because maybe you want to rely on your own schedule, but try to think about an alternative, because sometimes be stuck in the traffic is frustrating, and spend like 30 euros of parking is another thing that is not the best, actually.
And the
so people, they always take
well, I've only done the hydrofoil from Sorrento to Napoli, and I thought it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, this is very beautiful.
Now, can you take it from Naples to Amalfi or Positano?
Yes, but otherwise there is also an alternative for not a lot of people know. If you're coming from Rome, for example, with the fast train, you can arrive in Salerno, and the train station is in front of the pier, but you can take the jet foil to go to Amalfi and Positano. So even for a day trip, is much easier for the people. I mean, these are all the suggestions the locals can give you if you trust them when they tell you, okay, use this instead of this. So sometimes on internet, on the website, and also on Facebook pages, I try to give this suggestion to people, because I'm telling you have to do the tour with me. But I'm trying to help you as a local to give you a more relaxed experience, you know, without jumping and going up and down like a ping pong ball, okay? Just relax a little, slow down, relax a little bit, and enjoy the vibes that you are feeling while you travel in the different part of our country. There are amazing places in Italy, honestly, a lot. Not only, I mean, apart the big towns, but all the countryside and all inland of the region. It's amazing places, but you have to come here and just take your time. I mean, we are famous to take it easy. I think you learned this, Marilyn, by now.
Yes,
take it easy is my best suggestion to the people, okay? I know that sometimes you saved your whole life, okay, to do this trip to Italy. So I can totally understand. It would be the same for me if I would never go to United States. But at a certain point, you have to accept that with the time at disposal, you cannot do everything, okay, unless you have 20 years old, okay? If you have if you are 20 years old, you can walk for 3 hours without stopping, you can do that. But if you arrive here and you are a little bit older, or you want to simply relax a little bit, just accept, choose the best for you, not just according to the people around the world, and then enjoy it. And that would be
Absolutely.
very good memories, because it would be your own memories, not the people memories, just your own.
That's right. And that's why I recommend you, because you
Thank
are
you.
a person that wants my clients or anyone coming to Italy to experience Italy, to feel Italy, to not just do Italy. You know, we're not doing this, you know, we're not checking a list and doing everything because you
Yes,
want to, we're going to Pompeii, for instance. You want to be there long enough to understand there people died there in the course of minutes. The whole town
yes,
was gone. And that they didn't understand before that this could even happen. I mean, we don't, it's hard for us to grasp that, you know, that
yes,
because we know what volcanoes can do. You know, we see it in Hawaii all the time. Houses get eaten alive, you know, and so on, and it's not even going off like Vesuvius did. But you slow them down. And my clients absolutely adored you. They want to adopt you. They love
thank you.
you.
They
And
were lovely people. Yeah. And when they left, I mean, I remember they hugged me and was very, very nice, because I was feeling like a member of their family. So it was very, very nice, because even for us, meeting this kind of person is amazing, because actually you feeling like you're doing something good that day, not just telling you stories and stories or dates or facts about our land, because we share something. I share a piece
yes,
of my story, my culture, and what is on my back, on my shoulder, actually.
yeah,
And I share
yes,
it with you. And I think it's the most important, the exchange in between cultures and
yeah.
stories and history and everything. So that I remember that was a very funny experience. I mean, even if I've not done a lot of things as a tour guide, but I remember was a nice day taking them around.
Well, these customers, for the rest of you, they were looking for their where she came from, and
Yes,
Federica met them in Benevento, if I remember correctly, and
yes,
then they drove together, and she talked to people, helped them find where the relatives are buried, and they talked to people in the streets that were from the town that her grandparents were from. And it was
yes,
just a really interesting story that grabbed me because this woman was adopted. And so she,
yes.
because of poverty more than any other reason, I think. And then, if I remember correctly, and they found her family, and it meant
Yes,
so much to her. And they've been back, and they talk about you all the time.
I'm
So
so happy about that, because I remember that I was very happy, because there are a lot of small towns in the south of Italy, above all, when you have a lot of people that move to United States. Okay, so when you
yes,
go to these places compared to the big city, it's totally different, the vibes that you get, because there were a lot of people, a lot of relatives that moved in the United States. So whenever we're meeting someone, they would say, "Oh, my parents, my relatives, they went to Philadelphia. Oh, mine, they went to New York." So they were sharing experience. I was just translating for them, because of course they could not speak English very well, the locals, I mean the people from this tiny village. But they had a very nice time, because they shared something with the locals. And I
yes,
was very happy to be like a mean to do that. Okay,
yes.
like a tool to be used to let them experience that kind of thing. So I was
Yes.
very, very happy.
When we went to visit my relatives, I was the only one translating, which
Oh
was
my
pretty
God.
difficult. Well, I understand more than I speak. But one of the things was there were 15 of us Richies that went to the hometown of our grandfather. And when we were walking around, we were doing the passeggiata after this gigantic meal. And we stopped and we taught people, you know, this little town of Fogneto Labate doesn't get any Americans, you know, unless they're relatives. So one little man sitting down asked if we knew so-and-so from St. Paul, Minnesota, which is where we were all originally from. And one of my cousins knew who that person was.
Oh my
And
God.
so we were able to go back to the US and she could talk to their family and say, we met your great uncle, you know.
What amazing.
Yes, I mean, those are the kinds of things that, you know, you experience in a small town, or you find people asking you questions about America, even if they didn't go to America, or, you know, people went to Australia, all kinds of places, but they ask you, why would you want to come back here and live here when your family fled 100 years ago?
Yes.
And what they don't realize is how much their families loved their homeland. You know?
Yes, and they were forced to leave. This is why it's a pity. But you know, the main problem that we have, while in the United States you have, I mean, the Italian dream, we have here the American dream. So everything that is America related, United States related, is a myth. It's very important. So why you should stay here if you could go to United States and became an important person? So sometimes people do not realize that the truth is not always what they told you. Okay, there are always
Yes.
two sides. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's always important to learn them both, to truly understand how is to live a place. It was the same for me when I was living in London. I mean, why you stayed over there in London? Why you choose to come back here to Naples? I could have stayed over there and work, but I felt at a certain point that that city was too much for me for that time. And I also had my boyfriend with me, so we moved back here. And I was very happy about the choice, and I'm still very happy because I'm a tour guide now. So
Yes.
I don't know what I've been about on me if I stayed in London, but that was the myth about Great Britain and live over there. The truth is, okay, I enjoyed it, was amazing, was special and everything, but I was missing my hometown and my
Yes.
tradition and my stories. So it's the same for all the people that move to America. So of course, when they are here and they are able to track their history, is always very, very amazing for them. It's a nice experience. It's
Yes.
moving.
So I'm glad you were part of that. And I'm so glad I found you and that you were able to
Um,
step out of your normal role and do that, because I really didn't have anybody to help them. So I really appreciate that.
no,
Now,
was my joy to do that. Was my pleasure.
well, I will definitely work with you in the future, if I get work, which I'm assuming I will. You know, now that Americans and everyone are starting to come back, I'm just reading about the Green Pass and you know what
Yeah,
Americans
but
need
we'll be
to do.
waiting, Marilyn. There is nothing else that we can do. In the meantime, if you're coming here or if we're ever coming to Chiavari, at least we have a coffee or a spritz or whatever you
Absolutely.
want, because I just I really enjoy the chat that we're having and the little time spent together. So it's would be a nice chance to do that in the future again. Apart from the job, that's another story. But you know, job is not life.
No, the job
There
is
are
not
two
like
different kind of
meeting
things.
people and getting to know them also makes life beautiful. So be sure to
Yes,
give me your information. Now you're still working on your
yes.
website, but it's called mindthenap.et.
Mind the nap. Yes,
So mind, not the gap, mind the nap, like you're going to go to sleep.
yes,
Dot
exactly.
it in English. Mind the nap et. And so
Yes,
that's the website. And then Federica, what email would you want someone to use to contact you?
they
Or
can use my email of Mind the Nap. So will be my name, which is Federica, and then will be at mindthenap.it. Okay, so that's the address. Anyway, I will write down on the picture I send you, so the people can contact me. They can find me on Facebook as well, and also Mind the Nap is on Facebook, and also from today will be on Instagram as well. So they have plenty of choice to find me whenever they want, even for a coffee. I mean, apart from that, I now have a lot of friends from all over the world because, you know, clients at a certain point, they became friends.
that's right, especially when they go visit you more than once. But if
Yes,
you meet
yeah.
her
I
for
mean,
a coffee, people, buy her
yeah,
coffee.
coffee,
Buy her coffee. I've had
a
people
real
come,
coffee. Okay. Don't
yes,
try
no,
to,
no longer. No, 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 no.
no longer. And please don't ask me if we have a Starbucks here. Okay. Because that
Ugh.
will be the end of our relationship.
Yes, I'm
Sadly,
sorry
like
that
that.
they're coming in. They're in Milano, and now they're going to be in Rome, I think, too. Now in Florida, I know they're in.
I don't know. I don't know, but
Ugh.
I think they, I mean, coffee is a traditional over Italy, but especially in some places in Italy. So here, hopefully, will never come Starbucks because nothing wrong, but it's not coffee. It's
not
good for the
Italian coffee.
mochaccino's and things like that, or frozen iced coffee, whatever they call it. I had that in London several times, but not when I wanted a coffee. In exchange, if you're coming here, I will show you where you can have the best pizza. Because remember, pizza is from Naples, okay? Not
Milan,
Florence,
not anywhere
not
else.
Milan, not Genoa. No, it's from here, okay? And I will be very glad to show you where you can have the best pizza. I won't tell you right now.
Where? Da Michele?
Da Michele is one of the best. It's a traditional pizza. It's very close to the central station, a railway station. And it's nice because you have only 3 types of pizza over there and you share the table with other people. So a very traditional local experience. If you want a pizza, the city center is the best option. You have a lot of pizzeria option. If you wanted the truth, we have pizza in the suburbs. Space parking, better.
Yes.
No tourist over there, but that's another story. Anyway, city center is the best for the pizza. And also the Da Michele is one of my personal favorites.
Okay.
Don't tell the others. We keep for ourselves.
Okay, well, just us. Okay, well, I'm
Just
so
us,
glad.
tons of people.
We don't tell anybody, just us. And you know that if you work with Federica, she'll give you even a better experience because you're now friends.
I will be very, very happy to take people around and finally show you Naples, okay?
I want to do that with you. I really do.
I will be waiting. You will see me. I will sign Marilyn Richie written on, and you will find me.
I will. I'll be doing that. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to you for this interview. I really enjoyed, and I really hope to meet you soon. In the meantime, take care. Okay.
You too. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Have fun, and go slow.
You too. You too.
Okay.
And have a spritz for me along Chiavari Lungomare. Okay.
I will. Okay. Ciao. A dopo.
Ciao.
Grazie
Ciao.
mille. Ciao ciao. Bye bye.
Grazie a te.